Colossal Titan Origins, AOT's first villain who ends up becoming a hero, explored. Attack on Titan is a much beloved manga turned anime. A large part of its fame is thanks to the unabashed violence and gore shown in a world that is embroiled in a large-scale war. Further, the various Titans are iconic parts of the series, with each having a unique look and incredibly destructive powers. Most people would be able to identify the series based solely on the enormous Titans, and one of these recognizable beasts is none other than the Colossal Titan. The Colossal Titan showed up in the very first episode of Attack on Titan, and till date, remains the most memorable. Here's everything we know about the Colossal Titan, so keep watching. That day, the walls fell, and the world within paradise was shattered. Colossal Titan's first appearance. The Colossal Titan shows up in full glory in the debut episode of Attack on Titan, when we see Bertholdt transform into the gigantic beast and walk up to the southern gate of Wall Maria. The transformation alone was a spectacle and a half, and it felt like a major nuclear explosion that shocked the entire population of Shiganshina. It was evident that the population of Shiganshina had never even imagined that something this massive could exist and wield the insane amount of power that is synonymous with the Colossal Titan. In fact, many of the citizens actively felt safe behind Wall Maria, which was 50 meters tall, and were thankful that they lived a peaceful life. However, all that peace was absolutely destroyed when the Colossal Titan made his move. After his transformation, Bertholdt, as the Colossal Titan, approached the wall and he towered over it, standing tall at a crazy height of around 60 meters, which is roughly 4 times the size of any other Titan apart from Rod Rise and Eren, whom we will come to later. His gigantic face loomed over Wall Maria as the citizens of Shiganshina watched on in horror and anticipation. What happened next struck terror in the hearts of the Eldian people. The gigantic Titan lifted its massive feet and with all of its power kicked a hole in the southern wall with one swing. The wall crumbled as if it was made of Legos, and this allowed all the other Titans to swarm the city, killing the population ruthlessly, causing a bloodbath from which only a few people, like Eren, were able to escape. After damaging the wall and fulfilling his mission, Bertholdt transformed back into his human form. This also served as a brilliant juxtaposition, as it showed the audience the contrast between how Bertholdt looked in his human form and what he became post-Titan transformation. What is shocking is that all it took for the Colossal Titan to break through the southern wall was one kick. There was no tussle, no fight, no counter to the actions of the Colossal Titan, since the people of Shiganshina were in pure shock at the sight of this mammoth beast. This is also one of the most iconic moments in all of Attack on Titan, since it set the precedent for how strong these Titans actually were. Being the first episode of the entire series, placing the Colossal Titan front and center was a brilliant move, since this appearance had remained etched in the minds of fans across the world. The appearance of the Colossal Titan is the first time viewers are introduced to the concept of Titans, and thus, with its gigantic size, majorly disruptive transformation, and insane strength, the Colossal Titan truly showed why people should be very afraid of these creatures. Further, apart from being huge in size, the Colossal Titan is also terribly menacing to look at. Having one of the most distinctive appearances of any Titan, apart from Eren's final form, the Colossal Titan is heavily deformed. As his face loomed over the wall, what people saw was a massive humanoid face, stripped of skin, exposing the muscle and sinew underneath. Further, his jaw and facial structure were also non-human and disfigured, along with his arms being weirdly slim and long in comparison to his stumpy, pillar-like legs. Another scary aspect of the Colossal Titan that scared the people of Shiganshina was the fact that this Titan was constantly emitting steam from its body, almost giving it a protective aura and making it seem indestructible. By and large, the first appearance of the Colossal Titan was iconic and set the events of Attack on Titan into motion. Last but not least, seeing this gigantic Titan attack his home village inspired Eren's revenge quest that has led us to the end of the Attack on Titan story. He saw how one being had the ability to wield such an enormous amount of power, and that stayed with Eren, wanting to become stronger to be able to protect his friends and family. Truly, an iconic Titan. The True Founder's greatest creation from a physical standpoint. How the Colossal Titan came into existence. The Colossal Titan is easily the greatest creation of the True Founder, Ymir Fritz, as far as size and physicality are concerned. We all know how Ymir Fritz, a little girl, became the founding Titan many years ago. If you don't know, then watch our Founding Titans origin video for a full breakdown. However, the short version is that young Ymir was running from the soldiers of King Fritz, and she ended up seeking shelter in a rather large tree trunk. Inside the tree trunk, there was a deep pool of water, and unfortunately, Ymir fell into the pool. Instead of drowning, she acquired Titan powers via a spine-like creature that is said to be the source of all life, and came back to serve the king. Upon her death, the king made their 3 daughters eat their mother's flesh in order to preserve the power of the Titans and keep it in the family, so to speak. This started a tradition of people eating the owners of Titan shifters to gain their powers. It was after Ymir's death that the 9 Titans we know were brought to life, and one of these was none other than the Colossal Titan itself. As we now know, the Titans were made by Ymir in the world of paths as she toiled away in service of her king, even after her death. This massive creation was passed down from generation to generation. For hundreds of years, the different familial houses subordinate to the Fritz family battled for possession of the 8 Titans, though the power of the founding Titan was used to keep the peace in the Eldian Empire all through the centuries. After the Eldian Empire ran out of rivals to destroy and conquer, the citizens of Marley were successful in sparking a civil war in Eldia known as the Great Titan Conflict. In a never-ending cycle of conspiracy and treachery, the 8 families who held the Titans flipped on each other. Eventually, when Karl Fritz, the 145th king of the Fritz monarchy, ascended to the throne of Eldia and acquired the founding Titan, he decided to leave the War of Eldia behind and move the capital of his empire to Paradis Island, which was located to the east of the mainland. He did so because he was exhausted from the continuous feuding between the various families and felt sorry for Marley's history under the Eldian Empire's despotism. King Karl Fritz thus plotted with the Tiber family, the keepers of the Warhammer Titan, to take Eldia down, believing that they deserved this sort of retribution for the various atrocities they had committed against the world over the ages. Taking advantage of the king's absence, the citizens of Marley, descendants of a nation that was brutally destroyed by Eldia, took advantage of the chance to assume control of the war, spurred by tales of the Marleyan hero Helos, a story covertly created by Karl Fritz and the Tibers. During the conflict, the nation of Marley was able to acquire the powers of 7 of the 9 Titans who ruled Eldia, drastically shifting the outcome of the war in their favor. One of the Titans that they managed to acquire was, in fact, the Colossal Titan. Once King Karl Fritz moved to Paradis with as many family members and Eldians as possible, the wall separated them from the rest of the world. With the promise of peace, the Marleyans rebuilt their structures and incorporated the leftover Eldians into their society, albeit as inferiors. They realized that they needed Eldians to wield the Titan powers, since they could only be wielded by those with royal blood, the subjects of Ymir. This is when they began training young Eldians, brainwashing them against Eldia, and making them pawns in their effort to acquire the founding Titan. The Marleyans sent Eldian youngsters Berthold, Marcel, Annie, and Rainier to Paradis to defeat Eldia and acquire the founding Titan, the last of the 9 Titans that remained in Eldia's possession. Berthold Hoover was a member of Marley's warrior unit. He, like the majority of the other youngsters in the warrior unit, aspired to be a respectable Marleyan, and saw the people of Paradis as demons who had inflicted violence and cruelty on the people of Marley and the rest of the world. Though he changed his opinion about them after meeting members of the 104th Cadet Corps, he was always devoted to his homeland. He eventually transformed into the Colossal Titan and rapidly mastered its abilities, making him a formidable threat to the Eldian Empire. Don't let its massive body fool you. You would not like the results of hitting this walking target. What makes the Colossal Titan AOT's nuclear deterrent? The Colossal Titan has immense powers, making it a literal nuclear weapon. Various factors such as its gigantic size, special powers, and most of all, insane transformation, make the Colossal Titan an absolute beast on the battlefield. Here's a complete breakdown of all its powers and weaknesses. Fans from all over the globe enjoy witnessing all of the 9 Titans' transformations, especially on screen. They are ecstatic when they see the characters they love bite themselves as a flash of lightning comes down, indicating that the Titans are going to manifest and a crucial fight is about to take place. However, the transformation that is seen in the case of the Colossal Titan has a far greater effect than any of the other Titans. When the person having the Colossal Titan transforms, it can cause a massive blast, which has often been used to destroy enemies before the battle even starts. This unique power can further be managed and regulated, enabling Colossal Titan inheritors to choose the amount of force they want to use while transforming. We have seen both in action. When Berthold Hoover assaulted Trost, for example, his transformation only resulted in a wind blast that pushed some cadets over the wall. In comparison, during the Battle of Shiganshina District, seen in the very first episode, Berthold unleashed an amount of energy equivalent to a small nuclear weapon, destroying a major part of the district and setting the surrounding region on fire, as well as killing a large number of Scout Regiment troops. Furthermore, the transformation's tremendous energy produced an enormous mushroom cloud of dust and debris. It's been proven by now that the Colossal Titan has the most destructive force of the 9 Titans, and this power was on full display in Season 4, when Paradis Island unleashed an unanticipated assault on Marley. Armin now held the Colossal's power, having eaten Berthold, and he shifted into the Colossal Titan inside the harbor in the midst of Marley's navy. The amount of energy unleashed destroyed every single ship, and parts of the city along the port were smashed to bits as he came to Aaron's aid against the Marleyan camp. Hence, the transformation alone is enough to win battles and overturn wars. Coming to the massive size that this Titan is most well known for, while it does make him an evident target, it is a major advantage. Blades, swords, and most weapons will at best feel like paper cuts on this gigantic beast due to its sheer size. Further, its enormous bodily mass provides it with crushing physical strength. It's powerful enough to destroy Wall Maria's outer gate with a single kick, propel entire houses into the air, and launch Aaron's attack titan from the ground to the summit of Wall Maria. All of this suggests that the Colossal Titan is an excellent asset for storming highly fortified areas, although it is best if someone joins the Colossal Titan to capture the shifter when they revert to human form. This is because shifting back from such a huge size can often cause the person to fall from a tall height, leading to injury or even death. One of the most unique characteristics of the Colossal Titan is its steam emission ability. The Colossal Titan's notable power appears to be considerable control over the quantity of steam released by the Titan body. Titans normally emit steam from their injuries, and their bodies fully vaporize into steam upon receiving a fatal blow. The Colossal Titan thus has the ability to emit massive quantities of steam whenever it wants, in order to keep anyone from approaching the nape of its neck. Because of how potent this steam is, anyone who gets too near to the Colossal Titan's neck can be propelled backwards. This power is frequently used in the series, making it challenging for the Survey Corps to approach their adversary. This ability can be used for several things. The force and pressure of the steam can burn any individuals that are close to the Colossal Titan by emitting massive amounts of vapor at once. Thus, attackers risk being continually scorched by the Titan's incredible heat. However, if this power is used frequently, it progressively depletes the Titan's muscle mass until just its skeletal structure remains. Hence, it has to be used judicially. Compared to all the other Titans we have seen in the series, this one definitely takes the cake on size, shock factor, and sheer destructive ability. However, the Colossal Titan is not perfect, and there are also flaws and drawbacks that this gigantic Titan possesses. Some of them have to do with its giant size, while others are simply consequences of the Colossal Titan being one of the 9 main Titans. The greatest disadvantage of the Colossal Titan's massive size is undoubtedly its restricted mobility. With such a massive body, the Colossal Titan cannot move as swiftly or with the same agility as the other Titan forms, such as the Jaw type. The Colossal Titan's motions are slow and wobbly. Some might even call it awkward, making it challenging to navigate using the Titan shifter body in fast-paced scenarios. Because of its restricted mobility, the Colossal Titan is best used in very specific situations. For example, the Colossal Titan was helpful in surprise attacks, as demonstrated in the show. This meant that it lacked universal utility, and was most often used as a trump card to disrupt, shock, and stun enemies. Coming to other drawbacks, inheritors of the Colossal Titan, like the other 9 Titans, can acquire memories of those who possessed the Titan before them. As a consequence, Berthold and later Armin can recall negative events that occurred in the past. There were several Jaw, Attack, Founding, and Colossal Titans that show how having someone else's memories can be detrimental to the present Titan shifter. Past owners can also influence the present's demeanor and thoughts, causing them to behave differently than they might have had they not become a Titan shifter. As far as the Colossal Titan is concerned, Berthold and Armin both were shown having feelings for Annie, the female Titan. Berthold privately fell in love with Annie while they were growing up together. Despite his denial, everyone around him was aware of his real feelings and used them against him after they kidnapped her. Despite being on opposing ends of the same war for so long, Armin also fell for Annie after receiving the Colossal Titan. Armin visited her frequently after becoming the Colossal Titan, and he cared for her even more because he had inherited Bertholdt's memories. Armin and Annie even became close leading up to the final confrontation with Eren after he unlocked his founding Titan form. Another awful thing that occurs to all Titan shifters, with the Colossal Titan being no exception, is that they all pass away within 13 years of receiving their Titan. This is due to the fact that Ymir Fritz only survived for 13 years after encountering the source of all living matter and becoming the founding Titan. If the present inheritor is not devoured by an Eldian before his or her term is up, a newborn will be granted the Titan's powers. To sum it all up, the Colossal Titan is one heck of a beast. However, it is still not the biggest Titan in Attack on Titan. The Colossal Titan was the biggest Titan shifter known at the start of the series. Things changed, however, as the series unfolded. Rod transformed himself into the most dangerous menace Paradis had ever seen after failing to persuade Historia to become a Titan and reclaim the founding Titan from Eren. He was ousted by his own daughter, demonstrating that Historia deserved to become the Eldians' queen. Further, Eren obtained a new form of his founding Titan that is even bigger than Rod Reiss. In comparison to Eren's new shape, the Colossal Titan appears to be extremely small, even though we know that this is not the case since this one towers over everything at an insane height of 60 meters. Even though the Colossal Titan might seem like an easy target because, well, it is really tough to miss, it is also incredibly difficult to harm it. Further, reaching up to the nape of its neck to try and kill it also is not an easy task simply because of how tall it is. All in all, whenever this Titan shows up, fans always know that things are about to get horribly violent. Last but not least, many might compare the Colossal Titan to the Wall Titans, but they are definitely not the same. While they are sort of similar looking, especially their faces and physicality, the Colossal Titan is much bigger. Check out our video on the Wall Titans for more context. From villain to hero, kinda. Why the Colossal Titan is so important to AOT's final chapters. The ownership of the Colossal Titan is actually quite interesting, and it goes from being a villain to a hero as it changes hands. The Colossal Titan starts off in the hands of Bertholdt in the very first episode of the series. Young Bertholdt follows instructions and breaks Wall Maria, allowing Titans to flood Shiganshina so that Eldians could be destroyed and the founding Titan could be acquired by Marley. He worked against Eldians and his own people, helping Marley. However, Bertholdt is killed by Eren and his close friend and ally Armin, who is gravely injured in the process. In fact, Armin is injured so badly that all his friends and comrades think that he is dead, with Eren even mourning the loss of his friend. However, they discover that Armin is still living and decide to use the Titan serum to save him and turn him into a pure Titan. Armin rises in his new Titan form and consumes Bertholdt, who was left on a rooftop for that reason. After eating Bertholdt's flesh, Armin appears in his human form, unconscious and completely healed, having gained the power of the Colossal Titan. Armin has been shown as a man of extraordinary loyalty, bravery, and selflessness. He is always concerned about the safety of his friends. As per the manga and the series, Armin was always willing to put himself at risk to save others, even if it meant sacrificing himself. He was also quite close to Eren, and despite his and Eren's determination to fulfill their goal of discovering the outside world, Armin was happy to give up his own life to defeat the Colossal Titan wielded by Bertholdt and have his desires fulfilled through Eren. Further, Armin's most consistent characteristics throughout the series are his kind heart and keen intuition, which causes him to be frequently concerned with the morality of the group. This moral challenge came into play when he realized that Eren's goal was not only to safeguard the Eldian people, but to destroy all life that existed beyond Paradis Island. He realized that enough was enough, and he refused to stand by and watch genocide be carried out by Eren and his Titans, as he saw with his own eyes the chaos and destruction being caused by the Wall Titans that Eren had let loose upon the world. Especially when he realized that the Titans were not just attacking the people of Marley, but were also tearing apart Eldians, he decided that he would firmly oppose Eren no matter what it took, although he still believed that he could convince Eren to stop the madness. In an effort to protect people and hopefully reason with his friend, who had turned into a gigantic skeletal beast, Armin continued to keep his friends and comrades together, and they tried to brainstorm ways of finding and reaching Eren. They began working on a flying boat in hopes it would take them to Eren. Thus, the Colossal Titan that had initially been used by Marley to tear down the outer defenses of Eldia was also the one that would be used in the battle against Eren, the man who claimed to be the protector of Eldia. This is how the Colossal Titan became caught up in a plan to take down possibly the greatest Titan to have ever lived. A complete 180-degree shift from Armin's initial devotion to Eren. During planning, based on Levi and Peake's accounts of Eren's Titan, as well as the knowledge that Warhammer recipients are able to remotely control their Titans, Armin and Peake acknowledged that the most effective strategy would be for him to use his Colossal Titan's powerful transformation to annihilate Eren's Titan in a single attack, although Armin still insisted on trying to talk to Eren and reason with him first. Rainier also prompted Armin to remind the group that Eren had not prevented them from using their Titan powers, even though he had the ability to do so, and that meant that Eren may be attempting to provoke them into preventing his plans. The group is then suddenly pulled into paths, and their discussion is cut short. Realizing that he is in the paths, Armin instantly attempts to call and reach out to Eren. He tries to bargain with Eren, claiming that his actions would deter anyone from endangering Paradis for centuries. Before seeing a child like Eren in the distance, he hears Eren's voice, informing him that the rumbling that he had unleashed would not stop. Armin once again tries to talk to Eren, but Eren informs him that he only summoned them to pass to let them know that they would have to kill him to stop the rumbling. All of them were set in their own convictions and beliefs, and thus, the game had to be played. Post this fateful meeting, Armin realizes that he has no choice but to help take down Eren for the good of the world, and makes it his mission to destroy the founding Titan and get his friend back. He then assembles his team, and they prepare to ambush Eren and deal enough damage to take him down. Armin shows a lot of emotions, and freely expresses his anger and sadness at having to face his friend in such a terrible battle. The series so far shows Armin and the rest of his squad attacking Eren and the other Titans. We don't know how this battle concludes just yet as far as the series is concerned, but the source material had a super awesome fight scene involving Armin's Colossal Titan and Eren's gigantic humanoid Titan form. Hence, to see what Armin and his Colossal Titan get up to next, you'll have to wait for the much hyped finale, which will decide once and for all the fate of this Earth. It is super interesting to watch Armin work against Eren, his dear friend. He makes independent decisions and cares about the safety of his friends and family. Armin thus not only distances himself from Eren's goals, but he also goes from attacking Marleyan ports to trying to stop his own friend by even agreeing to kill him if given the chance. Marvelous verdict. We cannot end this video without doing a quick comparison between the two men who held the Colossal Titan and wielded its powers, Bertolt and Armin. Both of them were quite non-confrontational, so it's definitely interesting that the power of the most in-your-face Titan was passed to quiet and shy kids. Despite his physical strength, Bertolt only fought when necessary, and frequently let Reiner make choices for him. He decided he did not want to fight until the end of his arc, and that he could accept whatever result the conflict between Eldia and Marley had. This showed that even Bertolt held himself to high standards of morality, just like Armin. Armin has been shown as psychologically strong despite his lack of physical strength. His comrades have repeatedly relied on his plans, ultimately propelling him to the position of a Survey Corps commander. He always attempted to find a peaceful solution to any problem he encountered and to comprehend his opponents. Hence, though they were rivals, the Colossal Titan's heirs have a lot more in common than most people realize. Even though both of their Colossal Titans did look distinctly different. Most notably, Armin's Colossal Titan seems to look perpetually sad. All in all, it is an awesome character with a brilliant story arc. Furthermore, with Armin now playing a crucial role in stopping the rumbling and taking down Eren, the Colossal Titan has become even more integral to Attack on Titan's lore and story. The Colossal Titan is bound to play a major role in the final battle against Eren, and we cannot wait to see how that pans out. The Colossal Titan is easily the most iconic Titan in all of Attack on Titan. Every single time it has shown up on screen, something major has happened. This beast is definitely not a one-dimensional creature and has a lot to offer as a battle weapon. What do you find to be the coolest about the Colossal Titan? Tell us in the comment section below.